I do think that this major pullback today, in my opinion, represents... All right, welcome to Talkin' Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk to you about a company called ViacomCBS, stock ticker VIAC, and actually, as of today, they are called Paramount. They released their earnings yesterday, and in doing so, they also changed their name. So we're going to go through all of that. I want to go through their earnings release and their stock price. So please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Also, please do us a favor and smash the like button. And if you have any thoughts or comments, you can drop a comment below. So let's get into Viacom. Viacom announced earnings after hours yesterday, and here is the reaction. They are at $28.29. If you look down here, you will see that today it hit a low of $28.21. That is its 52-week low. Investors have reacted very poorly to this earnings. Viacom is down 21.5% on the day as we speak. I think this is a massive overreaction. I think everybody's missing the big picture here. Paramount has a massive audience through multiple different lines of revenue, and that audience is growing, and they are moving into the streaming online service, and they're not just moving in, they're moving up. They now have one of the top online streaming presences in the business, and they are only growing from here. So I think people are missing that part of the picture. And in addition to that, Paramount is one of the biggest movie studios over the last 100 years, and the movies have basically been shut down for a couple of years. So they have some monster movies coming out. They own the rights to a lot of very popular franchises. So not only will that help their theater revenue go up, but in addition to that, obviously those will go streaming on their platform first. I think there's a lot of good things coming. So here's what the big deal is. In this quarter, you can see this red dot right here. Analysts were expecting earnings per share of 43 cents, and they actually came in at 26 cents. So they missed on earnings per share. They beat on revenue, which is top line. I think what people are failing to understand is, in a lot of ways, ViacomCBS, now Paramount, is a growth company. They're enhancing their existing business, but they have to grow a new business, which is their streaming business, which is very competitive, and they're doing very well at it. But as a growth company, the bottom line in the short term can take a hit sometimes, but you want to see with growth companies, you want to see revenue on the top line. People have not yet viewed this as the growth company that it is. Streaming is the future. Enhancing their presence online is a massive, massive goal. Okay, so they released two documents yesterday, an earnings report and an investor presentation. I'm going to focus on the earnings report first. So you'll see ViacomCBS reports Q4 and full year 2021 earnings results. Total company revenue increased 16% year over year in Q4, reflecting growth across all revenue types. And we're going to go through the different revenue types they have. They have a very diverse revenue stream, which is a good thing. Quarterly global streaming revenue grew 48% year over year to $1.3 billion, driven by strength in subscription and advertising. CBS Viacom / now Paramount has several different streaming platforms. So they have a diverse offering in online streaming, and they have a diverse revenue streams because some of that is subscription and some of that revenue is advertising, traditional advertising revenue. Pluto TV works much like just regular cable TV does. Watch the content for free, but there is paid advertising in the content. So that's another formula, and you'll see later they're expecting just that piece to be $1 billion next year. That does not include their streaming subscription revenue. Pluto TV added global monthly active users to reach over 64 million and grew revenue by 45% year over year. They strengthened their financial position by generating $2.3 billion of net proceeds from non-core asset dispositions. So they were able to sell assets that they're no longer using themselves and increase their cash position right there by $2.3 million. Overall, they actually doubled their cash position to $6 billion. So this is a very healthy company from a financial statement presentation standpoint. Q4 and full year 2021 results. This is their revenue. This chart shows really the diversity of the different types of revenue that this company has. And then I want to focus on two of these because they are going to be growing substantially. Their overall revenue for this quarter was $8 billion. So again, that beat expectations. Their overall revenue for the year was $28 billion. So when we look at the market cap of this company, you'll see that it's trading at less than 1 times sales. So they have their traditional advertising revenue. Remember, they own CBS and a slew of other stations. Advertising revenue, this is basically your traditional revenue through cable distribution and all of their networks. So that was $2.6 billion in the quarter. So that compares reasonably to the same quarter last year. It was up just a little bit. At the moment, they list all streaming revenue together, which is the next line. This is one of the lines I want to focus on. Streaming revenue, $1.3 billion. So same period last year, $888 million. That's a 48% increase year over year for the fourth quarter. And then if you look at the year, it was 4.19, so $4.2 billion versus $2.56 billion. That was a 64% growth year over year in their streaming revenue. At some point, this is going to go from the smallest number on the page, which it was about a year ago, to the largest number on the page. So this is the transition that CBS is going through. And this is why I say it's a growth stock. Even as some of the traditional segments may shrink, the online streaming segment is going to be in heavy growth mode and already is. The next thing is theatrical. So you'll see $39 million versus last year of $4 million. Total this year of $241 million. Total last year of $180 million. Now the movie theaters have been closed for the last 2 years. So those numbers are extremely low. You'll see fourth quarter of 2020 was $4 million. That's basically zero. Well, the theaters have opened, and we're expecting summer blockbusters, and Paramount has more than their fair share. They have some very big movie releases going. I would not be surprised to see them 5x or 10x that number. That's a number that's just been suffering due to world events. And we do have, from a going to the movies standpoint, it does seem like we are returning to normal. We had a recent release, Spider-Man, be one of the all-time biggest releases in the history of the movies. Not just through this pandemic, but in the history of the movies altogether. And these guys have a lot of franchise blockbuster type movies. Okay, I'm going over to their investor presentation for a minute. 2021 streaming momentum. They had 26 million global streaming subscribers for a total of 56 million global streaming subscribers. That's approximately an 80% year-over-year growth, led mostly by Paramount Plus. Then they go through and say content hours available, so they're adding more content to their online streaming services. That went up. Monthly active rate, so the amount that they were able to charge per user went up. Monthly churn, which means the amount of users they lose each month, went down. So all of those things moving in the right direction, which is why they had such huge growth in 2021. 2021 Pluto TV success. $1 billion in global revenue. So remember, Pluto TV is an online streaming service that is free to users. However, there's paid advertising, so you have to watch commercials. So they now have 64 million global monthly active users for Pluto TV. This is in addition to the 56 million global users they have for streaming. 4.8 billion total viewing hours, 51% growth year over year. And then 12% growth year over year in viewing hours per monthly active user. So the users they have are using it more. Paramount Plus revenue, so this is their Paramount Plus streaming service. In 2020, it was $600 million. In 2021, it was $1.3 billion. That's 115% revenue growth just for Paramount Plus. Pluto TV growth went from $600 million to $1.1 billion, so that's 88% growth year over year. So you can see they have two strong platforms that are growing rapidly. I just want to quickly list out some of the assets that they have in the way of movie franchises and upcoming movie releases. So you're going to see Sonic the Hedgehog 2. That's a very popular brand and franchise. This summer they have Top Gun Maverick coming out. So this is the sequel to a movie from the 80s that you probably all know. So Top Gun is probably going to be one of the biggest summer blockbuster hits. And this has been pushed off a few years, and it looks like now it's finally going to happen this May. So it is going to kick off the summer blockbuster season. And I'm not going through every single one of these. I'm just hitting some of their major franchises. So you'll see Transformers, Rise of the Beasts. They own the whole Transformer franchise. Next, Mission Impossible 7. Mission Impossible is one of the most successful franchises of all time. And they are not losing any steam. Each one of these recent Mission Impossibles is actually grossing more at the box office than the previous ones were. That is a big franchise. The Quiet Place, they've now done 2 of these, so that is a growing franchise for them. Paw Patrol, they have Star Trek films that will be coming out in 2023. They also have several original Star Trek content on their Paramount Plus. So with all that said, let's take a quick look at the chart. So you can see this is today. This is the Viacom chart on the daily time frame. So this goes back about a year. I'm going to ignore the period before that. There were some big events that occurred prior to that that are no longer relevant. So I'm going to take basically from March 26th, which is very nearly a year ago, forward. If we look at that as their 52-week high and ignore these much higher numbers, this goes all the way up to over $100. So I've got 2 blue lines on here, $37.72, so just short of $38, and $47.50, just short of $48. So from March until the end of October, ViacomCBS, now Paramount, traded basically between $38 and $48. And, they hit the top of that. They retested it in June. They have not retested that since. But this line of support at $38 did hold basically all the way until the end of October. It dipped below that, and it has now turned into a line of resistance, which we tested once in January of this year, so just about 1 month ago. We were testing it again over the last few days. Today, ViacomCBS is now down over 22% on the day. So you can see this is taking out its 52-week low. So if we look at the entire picture of where Viacom has been, it was trading inside of a reasonable range. It got beat up pretty badly, as did a lot of stocks in November and December. It rallied in January, and then it's really bounced up and down. But today, it has just gapped down to its 52-week low. So when I look at this company, I don't see any reason why this would be at its 52-week low. They've reduced their debt. They've increased their cash position. They are growing every line of business they have. And most importantly, they have the fastest growing streaming service in the industry. In addition to the new content that they're making on Paramount Plus, I feel like this company has an awful lot to offer. I think there's a growth segment inside of the larger company that people have not yet priced in. I do think that this major pullback today, in my opinion, represents a big buying opportunity. I want to reiterate, this is not financial advice. I can't tell you to buy this stock or any stock, and you shouldn't buy it just because I'm buying it. So please do your own due diligence. Obviously, down 21%, you've got to decide, is this now a falling knife and it's just headed downward, or is this a buying opportunity? So again, not financial advice, but for me, I'm viewing this as a buying opportunity for Viacom. So that's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.